safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning and welcome to the Masai Mara. We are following 5 male cheetahs. They have just started their morning rounds. They've just walked past a dead wildebeest there too. This is Safari Live.
Of a morning in Africa when I woke up and was not happy. Thus spake Ernest Hemingway, and I hope very much that over the last 7 weeks we've given you exactly the same feeling. My name is James Henry, and together you and I find ourselves somewhat nostalgically in the finale of the 2017 wildebeest migration story. But fear not, we still have 2 hours left with our favourite characters such as Horace over here, William over here, Lawrence, who quite possibly ate William over there, and of course the breathtaking scenery of the great wildebeest migration in the Masai Mara. It's been a rip-snorting and spectacular saga together, and it will not be the last. As always, I'm talking to you from the Migration Control Room, this magical space from which we've enjoyed the exploits of the great herds. We've crossed over the river countless times together, and we've floated above Africa's most romantic wilderness area. Out in the field, it is still a chilly 58 degrees Fahrenheit, as it seems to have been for the last 7 weeks. Our intrepid heroes, Brent, Scott, and Jamie, have been following the relentless predators as they've cut a swathe through the herds all night long. Now, this live safari malarkey would be nothing without you. 7 weeks ago, I said to you that you would be the most important character on our character wall, and so you have proved to be sitting at home in the United States, and we thank you for that very much indeed. Please continue to talk to us using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. You can send us your questions or comments, and the thing that we want to hear from you most today is what has been your favorite moment of the migration so far. That's hashtag Safari Live. Let's have a look at where our adventure is about to culminate. Kenya is a mystical land of expansive wildlife areas, millions of animals, fascinating people, and of course the 370,000 acre Masai Mara. Now, Scott is back with his cheetah brothers, and they had, well, I'm going to say, a rather difficult evening. Here they are, eating an impala. Now, we haven't seen them eating impala before, but there are 2 fascinating things about the scene. The first one is that D'Artagnan is not with them. There are only 4 cheetah brothers there. The second one, of course, is that the hyena are about to steal their food, as they have done many times. But watch carefully here, and you can see there are 2 animals. That impala was pregnant, and so that's a little bit difficult to watch. The hyenas enjoyed yet another meal, courtesy of the musketeers. So that's what happened then. Then just before we came live, the cheetah went on the move. They started chirping around like demented birds. And in fact, we're not going to talk about this now. We're going to go straight across to Jamie. No, we're not. We're going to quickly look here. What happened was that they reunited. Dart found them again. He was submissive at first, and then he gave them a little bit of a slap. And after this, we're going to go across to Jamie, who is apparently hunting with the lions.
Our lions have just come launching themselves out of the grass. There we go. We've got a scattered, what looks like eland, and a lion somewhere hiding in there. We're watching through our thermal camera on our FLIR, and we're going to try and get a little bit closer. Very good morning to all of you. It just goes to show the unpredictability of a live safari. Out here in the Masai Mara, we're sitting with the Sausage Pride. My name is Jamie. This morning, VM is on camera with me, and this came completely out of the blue. We've spent the entire evening with the Sausage Tree Pride. They've been sleeping for most of it, and then all of a sudden, this lioness launched herself along here and towards what I think was a herd of elands. It's difficult to tell. It's still pitch black. I'm just going to use my spotlight to try and figure out where she's gone. She went racing over this ridge after them. The other lions are still behind me. They haven't gone running forward, which makes me think she hasn't been successful. And what an extraordinary start to the final installment of our live migration special. And what an incredible, incredible time it has been. For those of you that have been watching the series, please share with us your favorite migration moments on #SafariLive on Twitter. They're still running. I can see them up ahead. I don't know where the line is, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop here and just have a quick look. We're going to scan with our thermal imaging. They've just run behind that termite mound. Let's see what we can figure out. They're all scattered around there. There we go. There's our lioness in front of us. Exhausted and unsuccessful. The lionesses of the sausage pride are empty-bellied at the moment. Let's just get a bit closer to her. Let's see what she's doing. I can't actually see her except in the thermal. The lionesses are empty-bellied. They had a scrap with hyenas last night. And although they managed to catch something, whatever that something was, it was very, very small. I just missed it. They managed to lose me in a river system. Here she comes back again. And that means she's been unsuccessful. And so she's got an empty belly that she needs to fill. You can see that she is particularly hungry. Now, the sausage tree pride lives up against the escarpment of the Mara Triangle. And essentially what that means is that, well, they haven't had the migration around them for a while. But it's all action and all go, go, go. We're going to send you back across to Scott on the other side of the river with his musketeers.
Well, it seems like the safari couldn't have got off to a better start. Such great action already, and certainly a lot more possibilities on the cards. Now, it's still dark, as you can see. I forgot to introduce myself as well. My name's Scott, and it's great to have you on board. I'm teamed up with Jean on camera. I am literally so excited to have you guys following these 5 cheetah with me. Like I said, it's still dark. We're using a very special camera with infrared light. So as Jean-Andre pans across, you'll notice it's not quite light until he flicks on that infrared, and we are just coasting alongside these cheetah. Now, their last decent meal was 2 days ago. They managed to snack on a wildebeest, but again, that was stolen, just like last night's impala, so they certainly are hungry. It's been an interesting week with them regarding hyena stealing their meals, as well as D'Artagnan leaving them last night. So we are certainly not entirely sure why he left them. Maybe he snuck off for some romance, but we will probably never know the final answer to that. Rick, it is great to have you on board, and thanks for sending through your question. You would like to know how many coalitions of cheetah are there in the Masai Mara. As far as I'm aware at the moment, this is the only coalition, and it's a large one, so we're very lucky. All the other males that I've heard of are solitary. So quite interesting that these 5 have joined together. We're not sure how many of them are brothers or related. There's a strong likelihood some of them are related, but certainly they are not all brothers. That's highly unlikely. They are different sizes. And the great news is we are going to find out in the next few weeks, due to some DNA scat samples that have been taken, who is related to who. Now, you can see them here sniffing around. Even though this tree has fallen down, it still provides a very useful platform for cheetah to scent mark on, and they often also like to defecate on elevated areas. Look at those wildebeest horns in the background, a good sign of how much killing does get done in the Masai Mara, especially during the migration. There are carcasses littered across the plains. We've literally shown you 2 just with these cheetah this morning, and we are going to send you back up to the control room with James to tell you a little bit more about these migration herds.
Before I do that, everybody, I'm going to tell you about what you said on #SafariLive. Thank you very much to Lady Starfire. You said that your favourite moment was seeing Scott with the small wildcats, Serval and the African wildcat. That was fantastic. Heather, you said new animals and areas. Absolutely. Gabby, you said the lioness taking the zebra from the balloon. That was just astonishing stuff. And you said the wildebeest crossing the river. All of those things, I think, have combined to make my favourite moments. I, unlike you, don't have to pick a favourite, so I'm quite pleased about that. Now, You saw the thermal camera there, the FLIR camera with Jamie. You've seen infrared with Scott. And I just wanted to show you basically what a FLIR camera looks like and what the picture is that they're looking at on the vehicle. And making his television debut today, we have got Fergus, who's on camera. That's him. You can see he looks very hot indeed. And next to him, the crocodile skull, which is not in fact so much cold as it is dead. So that's why it is that cold color. So that's what we're using. This is the FLIR technology, and of course we'll hand you over shortly to Brent, who is in infrared. Now let's just quickly place where everyone is. Jamie sits with the sausage tree pride around here at the moment. Brent is across the river in this beautiful area called the Paradise Plains. Scott knocking about, crossing the Taleg River again and again with those cheetah during the night, and hopefully they'll do that shortly. Let's head back now to Brent, who has got 6 wonderful nomadic lions and their 2 consorts.
Well, we're with one of the males and a consort. They've just moved right up to the side of the vehicle. You can see how close they are to us. Isn't this absolutely incredible? Remember, this is 100% live from Kenya. My name is Brent Smith. I have Dangerous Dave on camera, and we've got some quite growly, snarly lions within about 3 feet of us. And the reason for that being is she doesn't really want to be his consort. He's quite young, just under 4 years old. He's got the 5 other members of his coalition that he's chased off away from her, and they're behind him in the trees, and he's really trying to mate with her. Now, what's happened is I think they've managed to just corner her, and she is sort of mating. I think she's come into a false estrus, and that's a form of protection. So she doesn't really want to be here. She's been trying to escape from him for 3 days while we've been following these incredible cats. Now, when I heard there was a coalition of 6 male lions, I had to come, especially for the last show. Imagine that, 6 male lions. And a coalition of this size is going to be something completely spectacular. Now, Mia in Illinois is wondering, what is the average coalition size in the Mara? Mia, it's difficult to say. I would probably say 2 to 3, but often those coalitions will start as much bigger coalitions, and over time they will die. Now, quickly before the lions get growling and moving, last week, just before the end of the show, I asked you to guess what color shuka I'm going to be wearing this week. And thanks to the wonderful infrared technology, you can't tell what color it is. You might be able to see a slight pattern, and that's about all. So I want you to guess what color shuka I'm wearing. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Oh, we'll see who gets it right. Now, at the moment, these lions are so close, we can't move the car. Now, of course, when you follow around coalitions like this, and it's very possible, because they're mating at such a young age, they're making such a big noise, that it could attract the attentions of bigger, more dominant male lions. Now, Jamie had a wonderful experience with that earlier in the week, and James is going to run you through a bit of a lion argy-bargy.
Well, the migration brings with it bounty, but it also brings, of course, conflict, as Brent has alluded to there. And, well, along with the social media storm created by those 2 combatants who I believe are going to face off later today, so some of the lions of the area have got in on the violence. Have a look. There's a big male there, as Brent said, chasing a youngster. He almost seems like he can't believe he's being caught by the older, bigger chap. Anyway, there's a brief scuffle here. The youngster puts up a brave fight. There's a bit of fur going flying off to the left, and then the youngster decides, no, round 2 will be too much. He leaves with probably a few scars, a bit of a dented ego, but he'll fight another day. The bigger one moves off, much taller, I think, towards the wildebeest that he hopes will be his meal. I also hope that the wildebeest will be shortly the meal of the sausage tree pride with Jamie.
The life of a lion is always interesting and occasionally dramatic, as you saw from that lion fight that we witnessed. I tried desperately to find those young males yesterday, and I failed completely. I think that they have fled and gone into hiding. But it has been weeks since we last caught up with the sausage tree pride. And when we last saw them, they were surrounded by wildebeest. They then went through something of a period of, well, wildebeest abstinence, if you will, because all of the wildebeest went back towards Tanzania, and it's only with the recent rains that have admittedly made our lives more difficult, but thankfully for the sausage tree pride have brought the zebras and the wildebeest streaming back to this area, and they are going to be planning on capitalizing on that over the coming few days. Hello, little one, right in front of the car. That is so cool. I've been trying to get an idea of what kind of mix we have of females and males in this mixture of cubs. I think we've got 2 males and 2 females. And Silky Sweets, a good morning to you. You want to know how long will male cubs stay with their pride. They will disperse at around about 3 years old. It's different because of different circumstances. If there's more of them, they might disperse earlier because there's safety in numbers. And if there's no reason for them to leave, they might hang around a little bit longer. So it's very much circumstantial, but around about 3 years old, they reach sexual maturity. Their instinct tells them to start moving off, and at the same time, so generally do the dominant males of the area. Fortunately for these little ones, that's not something they have to consider just yet. They're only between around about 4 months and 6 months old. There we go. Now we're watching them using our FLIR technology, and Viam's doing a marvelous job of alternating between the 2 different cameras. You can go the heat signatures, and you can see each and every single lion here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's number 6 gone? I can't see number 6 at the moment, but I'm sure the little cub is somewhere around there. They have been, I think, one of my highlights of the migration, just watching the way that their lives have changed from when I first arrived before the wildebeest did and they were utilizing the long grass, to now where essentially they have no cover. And so you get those surprise hunts like the one we just had, and I think the one we're going to have a little bit later in the morning as well, because these lionesses are still hungry. And speaking of hungry cats, I wonder whether or not Scots are planning a meal.
Well, they certainly are 5 hungry boys, these cheetah, and I'm sure it's not going to take long for them to stumble upon some possible prey. But for now, I think we are going to be spoilt with some incredibly beautiful scenes in the next few moments. They're heading straight towards a few large mounds that they will climb up in order to get a good vantage point to search not only for prey but also for any possible threats like lion, hyena and leopard. So what we're going to do is try and position ourselves on the other side of those mounds and get some beautiful silhouette shots as the dawn begins to break. It's just beginning to get light now, and we are in for a beautiful, beautiful morning once the golden rays of the sun start baking down on us. Oh, Terry, yes, lions and cheetahs certainly do cross paths, and the cheetah like it to be a very brief affair, because lions will kill cheetah if they get half a chance to do so. So that is certainly a reality, and these guys will be doing their very, very best to avoid lion at all costs. Not only lion, but also leopard. Leopard can kill cheetah and have even been known to hoist them up into trees. Imagine seeing that, a leopard lying in a tree with a cheetah draped over the branches. It would be pretty eerie. We're gonna race you back up to the control room with James and get into position here to wait for these cheetah. We will see you a little bit later.
Yes, indeed, we find ourselves back in the control room, migration control that is, and Scott calls me the migration officer, which I think is slightly beneath me, frankly, but that's just because I have a very large ego. The main protagonists, of course, of this whole story have been the herds. Now, they didn't get up to a huge amount this week. They ate grass for the most part, but we thought we'd put together a spectacular highlights package of what they got up to over the last 7 weeks. From the very first zebra of the vanguard to those endless lines of wildebeest moving up through the grasslands and then spreading out over to devour the bounty of the Mara's red oat grass, watching the herds has been fascinating. The excitement of the river crossings had our hearts in our mouths. We watched, most of us, rooting for the zebra and for the wildebeest, willing them to escape the crocodiles, and seeing scenes like this, which were very, very traumatic indeed. And I just thought it looked to me like this was wasteful, but of course none of it was wasteful at all. The wilderness, it never wastes anything. And then of course we were returned to peace by the long lines of the wildebeest moving back through the sea of grass, and it's just very appropriate to watch that last little line moving down. It brings us very appropriately to our map here. They were moving around this area here, but come the end of next month they're going to start moving south, and by December they'll be around just south of the Sierra Nevada Valley there. And they'll be following the storms, much as they were up here, for the grass. And I think most excitingly, come February, they'll move around Lake Ndutu and Lake Masai, and there our story will be complete. The circle will be complete, because that's where the birthing will take place. Isn't that exciting? With any luck, we'll get down there to join them. Now remember, we are going to go off for a very short break shortly, and we'd love to know from you during the course of that break who you'd like to go back to when you come back from the break. You can hashtag Safari Live Brent Lyons, hashtag Safari Live Jamie Lyons, hashtag Safari Live Scott and his cheetah, and we will go back to whichever one you want to. So that's hashtag Safari Live Brent Lyons, Jamie Lyons, or Scott Cheetahs. Please do not go anywhere. Those cheetahs could hunt, both of those lion prides could hunt, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. We'll see you very shortly. Okay, copy. I just got a whole lot of funny beeps there. Do you know what happened? Hello everybody on the internet, we're still there, I'm still with you, I'm just listening. I just said we got a whole lot of beeps, random beeps there. Ah, your radio died. Okay, good. That's fine. We're okay. Excellent. So, everyone on the internet, thank you. Here we are in our last show. Well, for this one, of course, I will let you in on a small secret. This isn't actually the last show. We've just heard that we're going to be doing another one on the 29th of September, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, Nat Geo Wild. You'll probably be watching on the internet, but that's okay. It's all the same. So we'll have all the highlights from what's going on here, but don't tell anyone, because I can only announce that a little bit later in the show. Okay, excellent, good. Now, I wonder, shall we go across to the river, perhaps? I don't know. No. Oh, that'll do. We're just going to watch the sunrise over the river there. That's Dusty Crossing, everybody. Very lovely. Sun just coming up, and as Scott said, I think we're going to have a very beautiful morning indeed. What's that, Eggsy?
If we keep these two cameras like this, we're going to cross it.
Right, okay, so you think we shouldn't do that? Okay, thank you. That's the voice of Eggsy, everybody. The man under the table from the second episode. In fact, I said that I didn't have a highlight of the migration so far, and I lied. That was my highlight. Watching Eggsy caught lying underneath the table during episode, was it 2 or 3? Episode 2. How fantastic that was. Since then, his job has got infinitely more complicated, and I don't think anyone's seen him since. I think there was a hand in one. Maybe, but no one noticed it except Fergus. And he didn't mention it because no one noticed it. Good. Okay. Marvellous. I guess we'll just look at the sunrise for a while on Dusty Crossing. And we're just going to sort out... Kirsten, obviously, and all the rest of the final control have got a huge amount to do during these advert breaks. They don't just get to waffle away like I do with you and enjoy your company. The company, as I always say, of our super fans and those who have our backs, as it were. Eggsy, what have you found?
Oh, no, it's a stump. Sorry.
It's a stump. Okay. Right, good. Let's go across to Scott. He won the vote. Well, so did his cheetah.
Hello everyone, and it seems like the boys have decided to take this little castle that they have climbed upon, and I'm sure it won't be long until they get up and moving. Maybe they know that they're waiting for everyone else to rejoin us before they get back in action. Copy that, Kirst. You get that, Jean-Ray? Cool. So we're just testing how the color looked, and it was looking good. So we're gonna start on IR and just explain to the viewers when they come back that we are switching back into color. There's quite a nice silhouette of the one on the left there, Jean-Ray. Beautiful. It seems like they're all getting up. Perfect timing. They're all getting into position on cue. If you go wide, you might get... Oh no. It seems like that guy's still our best bet. The other two were up. Unless you want this one right here, Jean-Ray. On the right. Okay. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you very much to all of you who voted for the cheetah. I think it was a good call because, as I said before you guys left us, we are going to get some great silhouette shots of them. We are still in infrared, but we're about to switch over to color. It is light enough to do that, so you can enjoy seeing a slight change of scenery now. Beautiful. So for those of you who haven't spent much time with this coalition of cheetah, this is D'Artagnan. He's easily distinguishable because he does have this GPS collar around his neck. The researchers use it to keep track of this interesting coalition who only moved into the area in December last year. Now I'm going to risk moving forward just to try and get you... Actually... Yeah, let's do that quickly, just to get you some nice silhouette shots of them. You guys can take some screenshots and just enjoy the beauty of having these cheetahs up on top of their so-called castle for the time being. You can see some orange hue off to the right there as the dawn begins to break. Now, just like the trees that they use for scent marking, they also use termite mounds or small little mounds of earth like this to leave traces of their urine so that they can leave notes for other cheetah, and this way they can establish their territory, which they are busy going about doing now. They haven't got a fully established territory just yet. As I said, they've only been in the Mara that we know of since December last year. Oh, looks like we're going to have to reposition now. Anna-Marie, you would like to know which of these cheetah is the eldest, and I'm not entirely certain. Like I said, because they only came into this area late last year, nobody knows exactly their history, where they came from. They could have come from Tanzania, they could be immigrants for all we know, and what I can tell you is that D'Artagnan is one of the biggest, as well as another one. So there's two of them that appear to be older. Oh, what's going on here? Now, even though they're a team, from time to time they still need to settle who is the boss. And this hierarchy is very important because at meal times, the biggest and the strongest will get the best spot for feeding. And more importantly, when there's a lady in season, only one of them, in theory, should get those mating privileges. So they, like I say, certainly are a team, but they will fight from time to time. Well, it sounds like Brent has got some action across with his lions, so why don't you go and see exactly what's going on?
Well, she's still trying to get rid of this male. She's really hungry. They've been mating for, well, attempting to mate for 3 or 4 days now. So she has got a very skinny belly. So while they're flat, it's shuka time. Tobias thinks my shuka is green. As you can see, Scott's in colour. We're still in IR though, so you don't see what colour my shuka is. Andrea thinks it's red. Aha. So, and Zoe says purple. Now, you are all wrong, because I decided, since it's the last show, the grand finale, I was going to be extra colourful and compete with the sunrise. So it is bright orange, and not only do I have a bright orange shuka, let me just try and do this, I have a bright red scarf. And so there we go, bright orange and bright red scarf, because it is of course a celebration for the last of the migration series. Now I am hoping the rest of those Bila Shaka boys come out of the trees where this grumpy sod chased them into a bit earlier. Now she really wants to get away from him. Her belly is really empty. She is so hungry. Look, you saw an impala is running. She lifts her head going, "Come back here, breakfast, please. This man has been keeping me away from my dinner for 3 days at least." That's only as far as I know. And of course this must be incredibly frustrating for her, because not more than a couple of 100 meters away are hundreds of thousands of wildebeest, and they're just on the other edge, opposite edge of the marsh. We're in a very marshy area here known as the Musiara Marsh. Oh, sorry, my head's in the way there. Now, I'm going to leave the grumpy boy and the very hungry girl for now. I'm going to see if I can find those other 5 boys and see if they are maybe trying to find some wildebeest for breakfast. So while we do that, James is going to take you through what the cheetah got up to this last week.
The Cheetah Musketeers have given us some enormous entertainment over the last 7 weeks. And this week, most of the time, their thrusts have resulted in kills. But this week, they've had to parry many attacks from the hyena. Let's have a look. They decided that they needed some zebra on the menu this time round. But, as has become the tradition, the hyenas, which I think have figured out the cheetah behavior much in the same way that Scott has, through time with them, came in very quickly. They put up a pretty brave fight here. But soon their persistence paid off and the zebra became theirs. Nice fresh meat for them. Now, that wasn't the only thing that they had. They didn't only steal pajama donkeys from the cheetah. Let's have a look here. Here we have yet another young wildebeest at the sharp end of the musketeer's thrust, and again the poor antelope's friends look on with gormless astonishment as the kill takes place right in front of them. Soon the hyena are at the carnage, but this time the attack is as an aggressive group. The cheetah have no choice here but to flee the much more powerful jaws and coordinated attacks of the hyenas. Now, in case you're wondering, when I say they cannot afford to take a risk, the cheetah, what I mean is once they get injured, no one's going to help them. That coalition of 5 is very unusual, and they won't look after each other in the same way that wild dogs will, hyenas to a certain extent, and lions to a certain extent. Let's go back to those cheetah now and find out if they're going to kill something else.
Well, I think they certainly are possibly... Ooh, let's just stop and show you exactly what they may be having for breakfast. It's not their usual prey, but they did catch one last night, a little bit to the left, Chandre, silhouetted on the horizon. There's another one that's probably a little bit better. There we go. Some impala. Now, as you saw in the little clip earlier on, not the one you've just seen with the wildebeest and the zebra, but they did kill an impala last night, a female. That was a male. It's interesting to learn what they do feed on, and I guess they are, like most predators, highly opportunistic. So whatever opportunities are available to them, they will take. They won't be too fussy, but it must be said that they are wildebeest killing specialists. They have mastered that art, which is quite unique for cheetah, because they are slight beasts compared to quite large prey. Now, I wonder if they are going to have a go for those impala. if they do, I need to make sure that I'm in a good position, because we'll be left in a cloud of dust if I'm not ready and waiting in the right spots. While we move forward, Jessica, you would like to know if male cheetah will scent mark every day, and yes, they certainly do scent mark every day. These guys go about it religiously, and so will the solitary males. I guess what's going to happen in this area, though, is that the solitary males who used to be dominant before these 5 arrived are going to be flying below the radar, because they are going to be going to these hot spots where they get information, like the tree that we are heading to over here, that the cheetah are almost certainly going to scent mark at. And they're going to smell the scents of 5 different cheetah, and imagine how scary that is if you all on your own. So I think these guys are commanding a lot of respect. We've yet to see them interact with other cheetahs, so that's something very exciting that I'm looking forward to sharing with you in the coming weeks and months, possibly even today. Okay, well, we're going to get in position, make sure that we're in a good spot in case the cheetah try and attack these impala. But in the meantime, we're going to send you across to Jamie with some cub cuteness.
Speaking of getting ourselves into a good spot, of course, it's rather difficult where wildlife is involved. We had such a gorgeous view of these little cubs who are biding their time while Mom gets her strength back after her hunt to indulge in a little bit of playtime. Now all 3 of them have ducked in there, and we're left with just the 4th one. But there's something that I really want to show you. There's a little cub that I really want to show you who's captured my heart. Hold on, I was going to move, but the lioness is moving forward. One of the cubs is exceptionally playful, and she's the smallest of all of them. She's also the palest little cub I have ever seen. It's actually the palest lion I've ever seen that isn't leucistic. She is so light in color. Oh, Mom, you're going to get stalked from above. There they go. Unfortunately, just where we can't see them, there they go. There you go. You can spot her from a mile away. That's her at the back. That tiny, pale little creature. Much smaller than her twin brother. Now, speaking of pale lions, Michael, you want to know if white lions have ever been spotted in the Masai Mara? The answer is no, they have not. There aren't any in this particular area. That particular gene occurs most regularly in an area that actually we come from, which is the Timbavati region of South Africa. So within the greater Kruger area, there are a couple of white lions. It is, of course, a recessive gene, so it's something that is quite rare to see. I don't think she's in any way leucistic or white. She's just much paler than her siblings and much tinier, which makes her the obvious target for a little bit of gentle bullying from her older cousins and her sibling. I'm going to see where these lionesses take us. They seem to be taking us up into the mountain. Let's go see how that situation is playing out with Scott.
Well, it looks like the impala has just spotted these cheetah, but that doesn't mean it's going to escape. There are 5 of them, and they are the fastest animal on the planet, so we can expect just about anything to happen here. The cheetah are a little bit preoccupied with their scent marking, but let's see what happens next. Isn't it interesting how the impala is actually walking towards them? And I guess the theory, better the devil you know than that you don't, is being applied here by the impala. It's making sure it keeps a beady eye on its possible threats rather than fleeing into the unknown. Now, even though they did make an impala kill last night, that was possibly, like I say, just an opportunistic, easy meal. That poor female was heavily pregnant, and they would have worked that out, done the maths, and realized that because she was carrying a baby, she probably wouldn't be able to run as fast as these males. So they might give these males a skip. They may be hoping for wildebeest for breakfast this morning. And isn't that interesting? There's some wildebeest on the other side of them in the distance, way off beyond them. So there's certainly lots of prey. There's also a little Thompson's gazelle there. That's a little bit too fast and small for these guys, better suited to female cheetah. But again, they will take those opportunities as and when. Hi there, Kevin. You would like to know if lion or cheetah are more successful during hunts, and it all depends on the individual. I guess it's could be related to sports teams. Back home, some years your team may be at the top of the log, and others it may be at the bottom, so it does vary from time to time. What I can assure you, though, is during the migration months, most predators are highly successful simply because they have so many easy opportunities. There's just such an abundance of prey that it'll be difficult for the predators to actually miss opportunities as long as they've got their wits half about them. Interesting again, these impala are now following the cheetah and alarm calling at them, spreading the neighborhood watch alarm, and streams of wildebeest off in the distance there. You can see little black dots like ants. The cheetah will be able to see them, but again, because they know there are so many easy opportunities at the moment, they are not going to go out of their way. They would rather continue going about their territorial marking with the knowledge that they will probably stumble across some prey fairly soon. Now, what I must say is that these 5 cheetah have been incredibly successful, more so than your average pride of lion, and I think that's because it's abnormal to have 5 males together like this. It's an incredibly strong and powerful hunting unit, and basically just about every time I've seen them pursue prey, they've succeeded. They have basically never failed in my presence. It's not to say that they won't have failed attempts, but in the 2 months that I have been lucky enough to share their lives with you, they have been absolutely phenomenally successful. Now, if we pan up into the sky, you'll notice there are some hot air balloons floating around, and we are about to send you straight up into one of them.
Wasn't that wonderful seeing the cheetah looking wistfully up at the balloon, perhaps hoping that he was somewhere else? I'm not sure why he would possibly want to be somewhere else other than the Masai Mara. There we have some marabou storks, quite possibly, and I don't want anybody to be offended here, the world's ugliest bird, in my opinion. They're still very functional and very useful, and underneath that, some more scavengers. They are, of course, the vultures. And we're flying over the riverine forests that fringe the Mara River here in a balloon, courtesy of Governor's Balloon Safaris. Isn't that beautiful? And just the contrast of the grasslands to the forest is amazing. Now, one of the things that we see very often from the balloon are hyenas making their way back to the den like naughty teenagers after a night out at the nightclub. And so what I thought we'd do in our final episode here is to play the game 2 Truths and 1 Lie. And I've set it up slightly more confusingly than I have before, simply because I've lost every time we've played before. Now, before we play, I'm going to ask you very nicely, and you need to look me in the eye as I do this. Please don't use any search engine for this or an encyclopedia. That's a fly. Information that you give us must come from your own head. Okay, here we go. Watch the hands, watch the hands. I'm going to give you 3 statements. One of them is an absolute untruth. In other words, under one of these baskets is an untruth. You need to pick which one it is. You write hashtag Safari Live, answer 1, answer 2, or answer 3, depending on which one you think is rubbish. Are you ready? Here we go. Answer number 1. The spotted hyena is the only species of hyena found in the Masai Mara. Answer number 2. Spotted hyenas are not just beastly scavengers, they also do quite a lot of hunting. Answer number 3. The clans of the Masai Mara are up to 130 strong, the biggest clans of spotted hyenas in the world. One of those is nonsense. You need to pick which one it is. Hashtag Safari Live, answer 1, answer 2, or answer 3. Firstly, spotted hyena, the only species. Number 2, not only scavengers. And number 3, the most enormous clans in the world. Let's head across to Jamie now while you think about that.
So So while you ponder the mysteries that James has presented to you, we're going to keep you entertained with, unfortunately, what potentially might be our last view of the sausage tree pride for the morning. We've spoken about our favorite migration moments, and I have to say, this time of day has always been mine. As the sun starts to rise, knowing we are the only people out here giving a totally unparalleled view into the lives of these animals over the night and then into the dawn, has been profound. And of course, we would really love for all of you to share your favorite migration moment as well. And a very, very good question, and I always love to hear that we have some younger viewers watching us. And we have a very good question coming through from 11-year-old Katrina about how much weight the lions gain during the migration. Now, I'm certain that they do gain weight. I don't think that they get fat, though. None of the animals ever get fat out here. But I would say that they probably put on around about an extra 2%, between 2 and 5% of their body weight. Of course, these cubs are still growing, which means that they will be the ones that benefit the most from the bounty of the migration, essentially. It allows them to become big and strong and king of the castle, eh? Little one. Here's our pale little lioness, who has always made up for her small size by finding herself the highest, sometimes the most uncomfortable looking spot, but definitely the highest vantage point, so she can lord it over her cousins and her sibling. And you can see her glancing down. Now, there are buffalo that are off on the ridge. I wonder whether or not that is the plan of the lionesses. I just don't know. I mean, I can see them off over there. What that means is we've already had one hunt from these lionesses. You've got Scott's cheetah. We're going to be taking a shorter break, but you definitely shouldn't go anywhere because we will be right here in the Masai Mara when you return. So we're back with our internet audiences. Of course, we never left you. I was to tell you the thrilling tale of the sausage tree night that we had. I lost them within about 5 minutes of the finish of the Sunset Safari last night. They took me into a lugger, and I expected them to come out of the other side, and they never did. And the only reason that we found them in the end was thanks to the hyenas. And I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if the lionesses scavenged from the hyenas or if it was the other way around. But they were in the polar opposite direction to where I thought they were going to be. And I confess I probably would never have found them if they hadn't been fighting with the hyenas. It was absolute chaos. And we arrived there just that little bit too late in time to see the lioness doing one final charge. The cubs are relatively well fed now. Or at least they're better off than they were yesterday afternoon. Whatever it was that they ate, it was not particularly large. What have you got? Now what? Are you stuck? Are you stuck, little thing? Them and I have taken to calling her Cassie or Casper. She's so pale. That, of course, is not her official name. She's certainly the most active of all of the cubs. She's always moving, always up to something. Picking her way through the long grass. Oh, lions. Why did you have to take me up this way? It's going to get very difficult very shortly. Hopefully they decide to stay out in the open like this. And of course, once again, Jamie's story of the migration, not necessarily a highlight. Jamie's picked the wrong side of the drainage line. Again. It seems to be a habit that I'm forming. Here's the lionesses. I think they've come up here to get a vantage point and to look down as to what's happening below them, which is a pretty good tactic, actually, to give them an idea of where everything is and where they should be. And there's got no grass cover, so they need to utilize the river systems or the drainage lines. Right, we've got 3 minutes until the end of this advertisement break. I don't think I'm going to get across in time. I don't think it's possible. It's quite a deep lugger. It is a beautiful sunrise, though. It really is utterly stunning. That's not Cassie. That's a different little cub. That's her brother. Something so childlike about them. That I'm the king of the castle mentality. I can hear wildebeest. I can't see them though. I think they're not far away. Oh, dashing off. Where are you going to take us, ladies? Not up into that hill, because I definitely can't follow you there. What do you think, Viam? Do you think we can make it round in 120 seconds? No, I'm not sure where they're going to go either. And once we're there, we're there. There's no ducking around. I think let's hold our position here for a little bit longer. Just see where they're going to head. It'd be wonderful to watch the Sausage Tree Pride, or all of the Lion Prides actually, through the course of the migration. Because of course, just because this is the final episode of our television shows, for now, doesn't mean that we're not still going to be here following the action. I think we're going to learn a huge amount watching the way that their lives change. I mentioned it was a beautiful morning. Off in the distance I can see the balloons soaring across the sky, and they've spotted something.
Indeed, yes, soaring across the sky they are. 40 seconds away we are from going back to the television. There is a hyena going back to a hole in the ground. You see what I mean when I say they look like naughty teenagers going back from the nightclub? I keep going on about that, but it just strikes me every time I see them. Anyway, the light is so beautiful this morning, as Jamie was saying there. And that, of course, is because we have no cloud for one of the very first mornings that I can remember. Right, 20 seconds, everybody. Let's get ready. I'll just quickly limber up, do my stretching exercises. All right, here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to your live migration safari from the Masai Mara in southwestern Kenya. You're looking at a hyena from the balloon there, and while you watch him, please do talk to us using the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. Send us your questions or comments, and don't forget to send us your favorite migration moments from the last 7 weeks. We're into the finale, like I said, of our Migration Spectacular series. This hyena, exactly as I was saying, seems to be lurking on his way back towards some sort of a den. They are my favorite in the morning, as I've said. Now, as you look at who I am, there we go, I wanted to tell you a few things. The first, very sad. Yet again, I have lost the game 2 truths and 1 lie. 65% of you picked correctly that the spotted hyena is not the only species of hyena that we find here. The striped hyena is the other one. We've yet to see one live, but they are around here, which is marvellous. And then we've had Longston. You said that you have enjoyed the wildebeest. Was crossing the river. My writing is so terrible. Rich, you said crossings and crocs. Ali, you said cheetah crossings and gorgeous scenery. Cynthia, you said lion cubs playing. I'm very glad you've had that. Many of you, of course, have mentioned the cheetah. Let's head back to them right now.
Well, isn't this absolutely beautiful? The sun has finally popped up and creating some beautiful images. Oh, there goes a warthog on the horizon. Good move. You are going in the right direction, away from these cheetah. Interestingly, warthog can be quite dangerous prey, and I've seen them actually confront these 5 cheetah before, interestingly enough. That's not to say these cheetah won't try and hunt them, but I have yet to see them do so. Good stuff. We need to keep moving. We've got a few other tourist vehicles enjoying this magical sighting with us. So you'll notice a few other vehicles floating around next to us. Now, I just want to make sure that we don't fall too far behind them in case they in fact do start hunting. Tobias, you would like to know, why do some cheetah, either male or female, live alone? And most cats are solitary. So the only unique examples where they live together are lions, and both female and male lions live together in either a pride, which is the lioness, or in a coalition, which is the male. And then cheetah are the other unique example that work together, and that's only the men. So female cheetah will not live and work together, but certainly the males do, and who knows why. They've evolved and understood and learnt the benefits of living together. I certainly don't, but they are very clever to have worked that out. Now, we are gonna, like I say, keep up to date with these guys and make sure we keep you in the best possible positions, but in the meantime, we're gonna send you back to Brent and his lion.
This poor female's just trying to get away from the attentions of this Bilashaka nomad, but he is not letting her out of his sight. Every time she tries to hunt, he's stuck to her like glue. Remember, this is coming to you 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya, and we are near the Musiara Marsh. You might hear some other cars around us. Now, we've been out by ourselves till about 6:30 a.m. and the other game drive vehicles are now out enjoying this wonderful sighting as well. Oh, careful, mister. The girls can hit back. And you can see there's that lovely golden light on them as the sun is rising in the east. And of course you can see the light shining through that beautiful big boy's mane. Now, of course, I think the sunrise is out competing my sunrise shuka, but I'm hoping the tint of the light is something similar to what's happening on that beautiful big male lion. Now, of course, he's only about 4 years old, and the fact that there are 6 of these males is going to make the next couple of months interesting. The oldest are going to get to about 5 years old by the end of next year, and which puts them in their prime. But with that force of the 4 young males coming up, they could very easily take over a massive area of the Masai Mara, multiple prides, and it is going to be an absolutely fascinating story to follow while we're in Kenya. Now, of course, it is an absolute celebration of the Mara and the series, and it's been absolutely wonderful. And I probably, if I say absolutely one more time, I'm going to hit myself. So it's been incredible. And one of the most important things in the Masai Mara is, of course, the murderous Mara River. So let's go back to James in Migration Control, who's going to give us a little update on the river.
There is the river, everybody, burbling, I was going to say, bubbling and gurgling as it is. It's come up a little bit over the last little while, and I'm just going to nip across gently to some hippopotamus lying just below Main North Crossing there. And while I zoom in, I just want you to say that word that Brent was saying earlier, Bilashaka, Bilashaka. Does it not put the fear of the wilderness rattling through your bones? Bilashaka. Bilashaka's got nothing to do, of course, with these hippopotamus, and I've got no idea what it means. In fact, it's probably a meaningless word. It's just very nice to say. Aren't those hippos gorgeous? They've just come into the water after their night out grazing. That was great fun there. Now, most of the weeks that we've been with you, someone has asked the question, do the lions ever cross the water? And the answer has been, well, yes, we think so. We saw the Paradise Pride from the balloon. They had wet feet and muddy paws, and we thought maybe they'd crossed the river. Then yesterday, our answer came wonderfully. Have a look. We're going down towards Main South, where we've had most of our wonderful action over the last few weeks. Here is a member of the Musketeer Lions this time coalition. You saw him hissing at the water there. I thought that was very funny. But eventually he decides that he has urgent business the other side that he must take care of. We worried about crocodiles here, but I think that the reptiles probably realize the level of threat posed by a big male lion like this. And look at his tail slashing irritatedly there as he lost his depth. He spent the rest of his day just lying on the banks there, warming up a little bit. Then we had a second crossing. That was just last night, and that was of a much smaller river and of our favourite cheetah brothers. Let's see them getting their little paws wet. There they are, thinking about it. One of them takes a leap, and it doesn't take too long after that for the rest of them to follow. D'Artagnan, at this stage, was still with them. It was after this that he separated from them, and then, of course, they have reunited. Now, watch, this is very funny here. Thinks he's going to jump, but then kind of doesn't want to get wet in 3 feet of water, and then gets out and looks rather embarrassed by the whole thing. I think that was wonderful. The cats, clearly all of them like to swim. Let's go and find out if they're about to do it again.
Well, more beautiful, beautiful scenes as the Musketeer Coalition go about their morning business. It seems like marking their territory seems to be high up on the agenda, but that's possibly simply because they haven't come across their favorite prey, which is the migrating wildebeest. Now, it certainly is interesting how the wildebeest do move from area to area over short periods of time. There aren't a huge amounts in this immediate area, but there could be a whole bunch waiting in any of the valleys that these cheetah are heading towards. Interesting stuff with that male lion crossing the river, and we also had an interesting event with these 5 boys crossing a river last night, so that's something we may show you a little bit later. Certainly the big cats of Africa are not very fond of water, not like tigers and jaguars, who are far more comfortable in watery environments. So you'll see there's a tree behind us. I'm pretty certain that they are going to be heading to that for their next scent marking, and it's not just about them leaving their messages on that tree. They'll also be looking for messages from other males and females. So it's a kind of a notice board for the cheetahs, as well as other animals. Beautiful. Hello, Gate. You would like to know if female cheetah are faster than males. Well, yes, I guess some females will be faster than some males, but I'm actually not sure whether, as a general rule, the males are faster than the females. So it's a very good question. If any of you guys know the definitive answer to that, please let us know. And that is the joy of being on the biggest safari vehicle in the world. If I don't know the answer, or Brent or Jamie, maybe one of you guys out there does, and we can share that information amongst us. So a great way that we can all learn collectively. And Gates, I like the way you're thinking. It'll be an interesting question to get to the bottom of. Some more Thompson's gazelle running in to make sure they've got a good idea of what exactly they are up against. And isn't it just absolutely fascinating? Us as humans usually flee at the sight of anything we are scared of, but it's interesting how we could possibly learn a lesson from these wild animals. Magical. So they are just about to get to this notice board, where they're going to sniff around as well as leave a few of their own messages. They may even try and climb up it. So let's stick around for a second or two. You can see how the tree's got an angular kind of trunk, and that may be inviting for one of them to try and clamber up. Cheetah are certainly not great climbers, but a tree like this may be inviting to one of them. Come on, guys, let's show everyone how you are not the best climbers. And the reason for that is their claws are always slightly protracted. So unlike a lion or a leopard, whose claws are sheathed until they latch into prey or climb a tree, the cheetah's claws are slightly different, so more dog-like. They are always sticking out. Well, it doesn't seem like any of them are going to go up the tree, so we are going to send you across. Oh, no, that one changed his mind at the last minute. So we're going to send you across to Jamie, who has a lioness spying on some potential prey.
And there are the potential prey right in front of us. and above them the beautiful balloon that you've had the exquisite views from. So there you go, the herds of wildebeest and zebra are now streaming in from the south of us. Here they come. There's a couple of buffalo dotted in there, but mostly zebra and wildebeest, and you can see that our lioness is watching them intently. It's basically like a buffet line walking straight at her. For those of you that have just joined us, my name is Jamie, and we have spent the entire night with this particular pride of lions, the sausage tree lions. And this morning we started off with a bang with a lioness sneaking round and hunting a herd of eland and zebra. And she missed completely, but I've got the same scenario now once again. I've got one lioness. I can see her clearly, but I cannot see the second one. And it makes me wonder whether or not she's pulled another sneaky maneuver and she's actually ducked down into this river system that runs all the way through. At this point, it's the only real option for the lionesses, just because essentially there's no other cover. You can see how short the grass is. There's no real route to get down there without her being seen. What is she going to do? Which way is she going to go? Look at her looking across. Another lovely question from our younger viewers, and it's so special, and I must say a big thank you to the parents who have their kids watching what I can only imagine to be a truly spectacular experience for them. Logan, you want to know, when the lionesses eat the wildebeest, will they eat the horns as well? Logan, no they don't. Sometimes they nibble on the horns, but horns are made of solid bone and covered in a keratin sheath, which is basically like your fingernails. So there's not much nutrients. You know how you're always told never to bite your fingernails. Well, the lions don't really. They're using them as a chew toy than anything else. And while our lioness decides how she's going to get down, and if she's going to go down towards the herd of wildebeest and zebra, a huge amount goes into bringing you these live safaris, and James would like to tell you more.
Before I tell you about where we are, everybody, thank you very much to Cream Cheese for sending through your your migration moment. Cream Cheese, yes, that's exactly what I said. Too many wonderful moments, you said. I agree with you. Lisa, you said lion cubs playing with their mum. Yes, wonderful stuff indeed. Now, it's not just about our fearless heroes in the field. It's not about me waffling at you from the migration control. This is called the final control room, and in it there is a hodgepodge of eccentricity and genius, the likes of which beggars belief. Over here we have a terrifying redhead director who is quite prickly. We have a vision mixer who is of Viking descent, no less. We have a producer who is also a very skilled cheesecake baker, and we have a social media genius over here who feeds through your questions to my ears and can do more push-ups than I can. There we are. Good. Now, Rebecca has very kindly said that I'm allowed to push a few buttons over here. There we go. My name is James Hendry. There you are. I did that all myself. Isn't that very clever? And the next button I push is going to explain to you how the phenomenal team of technicians, cameramen, and this astounding array of women get things done. Here we go. Are you ready? This one here.
Providing viewers with live footage from the Mara is a Herculean task.
Live.
The goal of Safari Live Migration is to inspire viewers to appreciate one of the greatest migrations on the planet. To do so meant building a camp for 25 people, rigging 3 new trucks, and commissioning a brand new control room. With all this in place, the crew set out shooting nature's spectacle. Live, from vehicle, balloon, river, and mountain cameras. The challenges pale in comparison to the reward of sharing nature, live and raw. Some will bear witness in person. For those who don't, there is always a seat with Safari Live.
Oh, those Topi and wildebeest are heading straight towards where the lions are. Now, we're just checking where the other female is. My name is Brent Smith, and we are in the most exquisite part of the world, the Masai Mara. It is an absolutely gorgeous morning, and this is, of course, the finale. So it is a celebration of all things Mara, and we've had some incredible times. I was lucky enough to be the first guide to arrive in the Mara, and got to explore all over. And Dave and I got really stuck for about 6 hours, covered in mud. And at the time, it was not fun. But at the moment, when we look back on it, it is probably one of the sort of pinnacles or really great experiences we had. Now, I'm hoping that those Topi and wildebeest keep moving straight towards the lions, and they should be there in a few minutes, so you're going to have to join us after this short break to see if there's any more Mara madness. Hi guys, so we're looking for the sister of that lioness we've just been seeing. She was with one of the males yesterday. Now I'm hoping, while the 5 males have gone right into the riverine forest where we are unable to follow, that she has gone off on the hunt, because there's a lot of wildebeest, Topi in this area. And while we wait for the rest of that long line of animals to head towards where the mating pair are, I thought we'd go have a little squiz around this lovely tree island that runs through the middle of the Masiara Marsh, and is quickly across to the balloon.
Look at this, everybody. Beautiful. Whoa, there we go. Okay. We've got a cheetah from the balloon. And apparently there's also a lion. Now, this is not the same cheetah that Scott are looking at. That looks like a female to me. That's a wild guess. It's only because she's on her own that I'm guessing she's a female. At this distance, quite difficult to tell the difference between them. And those vehicles are not going to cross this laga if the cheetah decides to. I'm not sure where the lions are. Apparently there were some lions as well. I tell you what, 6 cheetahs in one game drive is not bad going. I'm not sure where the balloon is. If I trace the line of watching at the map, yeah, they could. I'm not sure which side of the river they are at the moment. They're probably on the southern side or on the western side, and so this is probably one of the females Jamie saw, perhaps on the hunt. It might be the female that's got some very little cubs around here. Maybe she's stashed them in there. Now we are, of course, in an advertisement break, and we have 2.5 minutes left. Ooh, there we have another cheetah. Well, maybe it's the 2 sisters that Scott showed us before. It looks like a younger one there. It might be a mum and cub. Could be, I don't think it's Malika. I think we're way too far north for her. They're fascinating. And obviously these lagas, aka ditches in the ground, have got a number of traditional crossing points, much like the rivers. And I'm sure that one flows. It's a big one. See, this is special. 7 cheetah in 1 2-hour stint. Let's see if we can't find another one, perhaps lurking amongst the grass there. Now, unfortunately, this balloon, of course, is not controllable, which means that by the time we go back to TV, Manu, who is bringing us these wonderful pictures from the balloon, will be long past them. Oh, very sad. Oh, well, doesn't matter. That's just the way life is, isn't it? Some things pass you by. Some things you manage to grab onto with both hands. Now, I believe that we are about to see some lions. Now I've got a better idea of where we are. Oh, we are, you know what, that is the marsh. We can't be far from Brent. Brent cannot be far from here. We're on his side of the river. And I think, well, this is the Paradise Plains, basically, as far as I can work out. Those look like buffalo to me. And it seems to me that there are some lions. Are there some lions? I can't see any lions. I'm told there's some lions. Right, we are going to come out of advert break with me. More answers to favourite moments. Everybody, I'm just getting a number of instructions from Kirsten. You saw her there during our little interlude in the final control, and I'm sure you share my terror at what awaits me if I don't do exactly as she says. The Tufus. Oh dear. Habitable James has made the room. MC, Jana, Brent and Jay Shuka contest. Tom, Jamie Elephants. All right. Here we go, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, to your live migration safari. There is a cheetah from the balloon. Can you believe it? That's the 6th cheetah you've seen today. That's a very good return for a 1-2 hour safari. We're in the marshlands quite close to where Brent is, and I think this is part of a coalition of 2 young sisters, if I'm not mistaken. They're being enjoyed by that other balloon and, of course, by those 2 vehicles. Unfortunately, we are drifting gently past them, but at least you got to see another cheetah from the balloon. Wasn't that very special indeed? Now, the Toofus, yes indeed, the Toofus, you have said that your favourite migration moment was the fact that I have made this room habitable. Thank you, Toofus. That's very kind of you, and I'm very pleased that someone's noticed my efforts. Jana, you said Brent and James's Shuka Off contest was your highlight. I'm not sure it was my highlight, but it was certainly rather amusing. And Tom, you said Jamie with a family of elephants. Jamie watching elephants and talking about them, for me, is one of my highlights of the wilderness as well. Let's head straight back to her now, not with elephants this time, but of course, the lions.
Speaking of highlights, not just the lions, but the entire herd of wildebeest and zebra moving through as well. And I've been thinking about what I'll miss the most for now. Bear in mind that none of these live safaris will stop, but one of the things I'll miss the most is at that time around about 1 o'clock in the morning, listening to or being serenaded by thousands of wildebeest all around me and watching the stars, because of course we're all alone out here at night, and watching the stars without any light pollution. I don't think I've ever seen such an extraordinary view of the heavens. It is spectacular to watch. I don't think the lionesses enjoy it. I don't think they even notice it. But because of them, I've been privileged enough to sit and witness it myself. So that, I think, is my true highlight of the migration. And listening to the animals talk to each other, the lions roaring to each other, the wildebeest canoeing, and, of course, watching the way that they plan out their hunts. I don't think that these lionesses are done yet with their morning. They're still intently watching the wildebeest. I found the second lioness. She was off behind me. I did have her a moment ago. And they're watching and they're waiting to see how they can actually sneak up on this herd. And what tends to happen towards the later morning is that the herds move slowly but surely towards the escarpment. And of course, out here, a lesson that we've learned during the migration, but a lesson that we know already. Patience is necessary. You cannot rush anything out here. Fantastic. Another question from a younger viewer. This is so special because, of course, they are the guardians of our planet of the future. We have a lovely question from a 12-year-old viewer about whether or not the lions will ever take the prey back for their cubs. And the answer is no. From around about 6 weeks old, the lionesses have to go back, fetch their cubs, and take them to the kill. And that in itself is quite a dangerous process. Every animal out here faces a number of different challenges, and it's different for each of them. But the lions and the cheetah do share one common enemy. Let's go and find out whether or not they've managed to avoid them.
Well, the cheetah, interestingly, are strolling through quite a number of wildebeest, but not showing too much interest. They are possibly making sure that they look for the easiest possible option. They're in no rush. They know there's lots of easy meals out there. And obviously, none of the wildebeest in this herd fit the profile. Chandra, if you just pan to the left, I've noticed there's another predator that's popped onto the scene. A little bit more. Where are you hiding? There you are. A clever hyena. And if I was a hyena, I would certainly be hot on the trail of these 5 cheetah, because he knows, or she knows, this hyena, that there's a strong likelihood that they are going to be successful in getting some breakfast initially for them. But even one hyena can overpower these 5 cheetah. The 5 cheetah would not like to take any risks. They would rather back their incredible hunting skills rather than their fighting skills, which is a good thing that they do. They are quite slight and slender, built for speed, not for confrontation with other predators. My name's Scott Dyson. It is great to be on safari with you guys, for those of you who have just joined us. Now, like I said, these 5 cheetah are hungry. They are on the move. There's a lot of wildebeest in this area, but I'm fairly certain what they're doing is looking for the easiest possible meal. Now, my one concern is that they are heading into a low-lying valley where we may not have the best signal, but we are going to do our best to keep moving with them and to keep you as close to whatever action unfolds as possible. A huge thank you to Destiny, who has said that it is in fact true that... Oh, look here! This is awesome! This cheetah is just saying, I'm not tolerating you lurking behind us like this, waiting for an easy meal. And quite interesting, sometimes the cheetah will be a lot less tolerant of hyena, and I guess just like us as humans, some days we're a little less tolerant than others. So that was a good example of that. As I was saying, Destiny got back to me and all of us, I guess, and she's found some research somewhere suggesting that female cheetah are in fact faster than males. So that's very interesting, and thanks for sharing that with us. Like I said, we need to keep moving and try and work out what these cheetah are going to do next. So let's hope the signal holds. We are in a bit of a shaky area. So rather than sticking with us, we are going to send you back up to James to show you the best moments of the last 8 weeks.
I am going to attempt to do that, but first I must just say to you, of course, that there have been some astonishing moments. We've seen the iconic scenes, and I use the word iconic a lot in relation to the Masai Mara, of the wildebeest moving through the grasses, those traumatic scenes of them leaping into the river and being devoured by crocodiles, drowned in the rapids. Then we've seen some very surprising things, and things I didn't expect to see. The bloodlust of the lions in amongst the herds made me quite shocked, and of course the most fascinating of all, I think, has been spending time with the 5 musketeers. We've put together a little highlights package of what we think have been the most spectacular moments of the series.
While this season of Safari Live migration has come to an end, the saga on the Mara floor will continue. The characters we've grown to know and love will continue to battle for survival. The Musketeer Coalition will face more challenges as the herds move on. The prides will gorge as long as they are able. Pickings won't be as easy in the coming months. The crocodiles will store what energy they can. It may be 9 months until they can eat so heartily. And the Mara's permanent residents will make their way back to the plains as the herds dissipate. It has been an epic drive full of heartwarming moments and jaw-dropping nature. Safari Live migration is not over. The journey has just begun.
Indeed, the journey has just begun. We've got a wonderful surprise for everybody. On the 29th of September, we're actually coming back to your screens at 11 p.m. Nat Geo Wild, Eastern Time. Now, where's 3 things I have to remember there? 11 p.m. Eastern Time, Nat Geo Wild. We're going to bring you a wrap of the migration. In the interim, that's 2 weeks, no, it's about 4 weeks from now, please use the hashtag Safari Live and the hashtag MigrationBest to tell us what your highlights have been, much as you have been doing now, and we'll put some clips together for that show to show you the highlights that you have chosen, and of course we'll show you everything that's happened in the intervening 4 weeks, and of course whatever live action happens. So that is hashtag Safari Live, hashtag MigrationBest. Let's head back to Jamie and her lions now.
Our lions now are being exceptionally cute, or at least the lion cubs are. And there we go, the special little pale female sitting right up on a termite mound, surveying a territory that she will one day protect with the rest of her pride. And of course, one of the things that will be fascinating to see is whether or not she stays that white, or if she goes darker with age, because she really is so pale. I thought for a second the image was actually overexposed, but VM would never do that. She really is just that pale. And remember, you can join us at the end of September to find out, but of course you can watch us also every day. Now, Clay of Clay, a lovely question. The answer to that is yes, the females absolutely will stay with the pride for the rest of their lives. Occasionally you get a situation where pride split. Sometimes they get too large, sometimes the younger females move off with cubs in order to protect them. But essentially, a female born into a lion pride has that security for the rest of her life. This little male, the twin of the pale lioness, or the pale lion cub, will not have that luxury. He will have to strike out on his own or with a cousin. And that, of course, makes futures always a little bit insecure, but all part of the natural way of things out here. Speaking of the natural way of things out here, let's go and see whether or not the cheetah have managed to spot breakfast yet.
Well, there is certainly lots of possible breakfast that the cheetah has spotted. These Thompson's gazelle, like I said a little bit earlier, are a little bit too quick, but that wildebeest would work. And there's a cheetah spying on it. Just to the right, we can see its head poking out there. There we go. Where did it disappear to? Ooh, here it is, here it goes. It's on the move. Is it stalking? That's D'Artagnan. He often leads the charge. Come on, boy, there's a lot of people that would love to see you doing your business live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. Wouldn't it be an absolutely fitting way to end this 8-part series to see the fastest mammal on the planet unleashing all of its fury upon these wildebeest? Doesn't seem like he got the memo, though, or maybe he's just waiting until the last few moments before the safari finishes. I'm not sure where his 4 partners in crime have disappeared to. They were further off to the right. And is that a different one or the same one? Different one, thanks, Chandra. So there are more reinforcements coming through. These are quite big wildebeest, but these 5 boys have been known to take down even fully grown wildebeest, which is quite interesting. They will not just pick on the small yearlings or 6 or 7 month year old ones. And Jessica, you would like to know, what is the biggest prey that cheetah can bring down? And basically fully grown wildebeest and giraffe, that would be impossible, zebra rather, are the most likely largest prey that cheetah will take down. And it's not just these 5, but also other large coalitions that have been documented across Africa. I haven't heard of anything bigger than wildebeest or zebra being taken down. So this is kind of the maximum size prey that they can take. And it is dangerous for them. These wildebeest have got sharp horns, powerful bodies that could very easily injure the cheetah. So there are risks involved. But like most things in life, and just like for us as humans, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Those Thompson's gazelle are a lot harder work, a lot less risk, but then again, a lot less of a reward, and that's why the cheetah is probably strolling straight past them. Beautiful, beautiful scenes, and aren't we so lucky to be sharing these moments with the cheetah as the beautiful morning light bathes down upon the Mara. Hello, Silky Sweet. You'd like to know if cheetah are more successful hunters during the night or during the day. And I would tend to say that nighttime is going to be preferable for most predators. Their eyesight is better at night than their prey, and therefore their hunting becomes more effective. And that's why we've noticed these 5 boys do a lot of hunting at night. Just like last night, they managed to catch an impala, and many occasions that we have spent with them, they are operating under the cover of darkness. So I think as a general rule, yes, nighttime will be most successful for them, but you'll find with most predators, it's going to ebb and flow and up and down, just depending on luck, basically. Okay, now, what are they going to do next? Like I said a bit earlier, we are in quite a low signal area. This is a live safari, so if they do go into very, very low areas behind mountains, we may lose signal and not be able to share what they are doing with you. But as quickly as they disappear into a valley or a ditch, they could pop out on the other side. It sounds like Brent has found some hyena. Why don't you go and see what's happening there?
Coming straight to you.
Okay, well, we found some hyena, and I'm hoping they're going to find us some cheetah. So the cheetah you saw from the balloon, I think it's Amani's 2 daughters, and we went too far away. So I scrambled down to the Paradise Plain, and hopefully we're going to get some luck. There's quite a lot of cheetah prey around here. There's impala, there's Thompson's gazelles, there's some young topi, there's waterbuck, and of course I'm hoping the hyenas are following the cheetah. But quickly across to the balloon, who's finding everything this morning.
There we go, wonderful hyena. Look at that, that's a den. All of the naughty teenagers have got home. There they are, another one just scarpering off. And what you will find there is probably a collection of females, possibly the matriarch of the clan. She'll be looking after things there. And some youngsters, almost certainly under the ground, probably avoiding the attentions of the balloon. They do get a little bit nervous, but of course the balloon will pass over them shortly. So the little ones live in burrows. And then from about 3 or 4 months old, they'll spend most of their time out of the burrows. Some zebra there, and that was just beautiful stuff. Of those zebra, the vanguard, of course, of the herd, and they will start to head south. Well, probably in the next month or so. Now we have some more wonderful migration moments. Thank you, Laura. Yes, Laura, you said that your favourite moment of the migration series was me on my swing. Thank you very much. I was on my swing twice, wasn't I? Darla, you said every moment. It was too difficult to pick one. I think you're going to find that many people who don't answer the migration moment question are going to say exactly that. And Lev, how very lovely from you. You said the giraffe river crossing. Something so subtle and something so beautiful and peaceful, which I think was so nice about that sighting there. Now, Jamie's lions seem to be picking on something possibly a little too big.
Especially a little too big for just one lioness, but you never know. There are a couple of baby buffalo in this herd, and although not part of the migration, they seem to have attracted our lioness's attention. There she is, sticking out above the rocks, and she's just watching at the moment. She's not stalking, but she's watching for the opportunity that she needs. And if one little baby were to stray in this direction, then I think there's a chance she might just try her luck. Unfortunately, her support system, well, isn't being very supportive at all. In fact, if we have a look at our second lioness in a moment, you actually have a chance to see that she really doesn't have any kind of hunting on her mind. She's there, she's hidden, but she's there. Right, so we've got one lioness that wants to eat a buffalo, and her partner in crime is not being very helpful at all. But who knows what's going to come around the corner of this little hill. The lion cubs don't seem too stressed. They got the bulk of the meal last night, so they're not as hungry as they were yesterday when hunger was causing them to actually stalk zebra themselves, which would have been an impossibility. Fantastic fantastic question while I duck my head out of the way so you can watch our pale little lioness. Lovely question from Robert, another 12-year-old viewer. Robert, it's lovely to have you. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for sending through your question. Yes, a pride of lions can take on a rhinoceros. It's very unusual, and it's very seldom a fully grown, healthy adult. I have seen lions playfully hunting rhino and jumping on the backs of them and then jumping off again, especially youngsters. It's a great way for them to practice because they're so much faster than the rhinoceros. But occasionally large lion prides... Oh, let's go across to Brent. He's got 2 of our big cats in one shot.
Look at this. We found the lioness, and she is staring off to the south. And this is a really dangerous situation because I don't think the cheetah have seen the lion yet.
Just lost vision.
To the right, Dave, to the right. Oh, Dave's lost the cheetah. There she is. Now, she hasn't seen the lion. Oh, there's more lion heads popping up. So this is a really dangerous situation for these cheetah. Remember, this is live. We don't know what's going to happen next. So you're going to have to come back quickly after this short break to see what happens next. Okay, guys, look, we've got, I'm pretty sure it's Amani's 2 daughters. Now, another lion head has just popped up in front of me. This is really dangerous for the cheetahs. Now, this is more than likely the Mara River Pride, which is between the Marsh and the Paradise Pride. Now, I'm really hoping that Amani's young ladies... Oh, the second lioness looks like she spotted the cheetah as well. I've just lost sight of the cheetah. Oh, there we go. I've only got sight of 1 cheetah. Now, I know you guys saw 2 from the balloon. Now, unfortunately, they're on this other side of a deep lugger. But I'm pretty sure we can find... There has to be a way to cross this lugger somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep moving closer towards where the cheetah are to see if I can find a way across this lugger. Now, this is very dangerous, as I said, for the cheetah. One of the biggest killers of cheetah is lions. And this Mara River Pride is a particularly big pride of lions. There's, I've seen 7 adult females together before. I think I see a possible crossing point up ahead. I'm hoping so, fingers crossed. Morning. Ah, there we go. I can see both cheetahs now. Let me just see. I'm going to drive quite close to the edge of the lugger. I'm looking for a nice spot where elephants and buffalo and bigger animals cross frequently. Let's just wait here. The cheetah are moving. Oh, but quickly across to Scott with more cheetah and wildebeest.
Now, this is looking a lot more promising. The body language from these cheetah tell me that they are looking for a meal. And there's a very large... Oh, maybe I was wrong. One just plopped itself down there. But there's a very large herd of wildebeest here, of which they have got many options to choose from. And I'm going to be surprised if they don't have a go at one of these wildebeest. I'm going to be highly surprised. It could be the presence of that hyena that's deterring them. A little bit more to the right, Jandre. Straight over that Tommy. Oh, there we go. They've got great cover within which they can sneak around and try and work out where any weak links within this herd may be. There are quite a few young wildebeest. What will happen? Time will only tell. We're in a very fortunate position here. If they do decide to in fact chase, I do not think we could be better positioned. So That is the good news. We've got good signal, beautiful morning sunlight, lots of prey opportunities, and 5 hungry cheetah. I'm going to take this little moment to take off my jacket. The sun is certainly beginning to heat us up. We've got a minute and a half left until the rest of the viewers rejoin us after their short break. And wouldn't it be sad if they missed out on this action? It's looking like they won't though, so that's the good news. And like I said a little bit earlier, maybe these cheetah are waiting until the final minutes of this safari just to keep everyone on the edge of their seats. Quite a few wildebeest deciding to stretch their legs, not uncommon for a lot of the antelopes. A lot of the animals out here to have a little run around in the morning, and they are certainly displaying that they are masters of running and moving huge distances. And just more opportunities for these cheetah come flooding down into this little valley. Where are the cheetah now? Well done. Can you actually see one there? Welcome back live to the Masai Mara in Kenya. As you can see, there is a very large herd of wildebeest. This is just a fraction of how many there actually are, and there are 5 cheetah lingering in those thickets just beyond the wildebeest. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen next. I'm not sure anyone is, but those 5 cheetah are probably just eyeballing these wildebeest, looking for any weaknesses. It could be that they are disinterested in trying to hunt this morning now that the hyena that's trailing them has popped onto the scene, because they know that as soon as they make a kill, there's a strong chance that the hyena may steal it. The good news is, because there are 5 of them and so many easy opportunities here, two of them could manage to successfully bring down a wildebeest. They could donate 1 to the hyena and keep 1 for themselves. Wouldn't that be an interesting way for us to all spend our morning or evening? I guess it all depends where in the world you are joining. And that is the beauty of these live safaris. We are going to share as much as we can with people all around the world. Now, like I said, those cheetah are lurking somewhere in those thickets. Where exactly, I'm not sure now. We're going to keep an eye out on them. But Brent has found some more cheetah.
Well, there we go. That is the first of the 2 cheetah. She still hasn't spotted the lions. Now, she is closer to the lions than her sister, who's coming up behind her. The lions are running towards the cheetah. The lions are running towards the cheetah. Look at that lioness. She spotted the cheetah. This is really dangerous. The cheetah have not seen her yet. Now, guys, remember, this is the African wild. It is unpredictable and sometimes really harsh. Now, it is very common for lions to try kill cheetah. It is all about competition. And just look at that. There are lion heads popping up everywhere. I said this is a big pride. Oh, no, it's a hyena that popped up there. Yeah. Now, has the cheetah spotted the lion? I hope she has. I really do like these 2 girls. I've spent quite a bit of time with them. The lion is still jogging straight towards the cheetah. Lex is wondering, will lion and cheetah steal food from each other? Well, the cheetah won't be doing any stealing from a lion. If a cheetah sees a lion, she is going to take off, or he is going to take off at a rate of knots. Lions are cheetah killers, but lions will definitely steal kills from cheetah. The cheetah hasn't seen her yet. Do you see the cheetah, Dave? No, she's just gone behind the termite mound. Just wait. I'm trying to see if the second cheetah has spotted the lions yet. She hasn't. Okay, go off to the left of the lion. On top of the termite mound, there, I think that's it there. Now, there we go. Now she Has she seen them? I'm hoping she's seen the lioness, because the lioness is walking straight towards her. She must have seen her. Come on, girl. Remember, this is 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. There we go. She's seen her. Thank goodness. Now, she's got enough speed. The lion is not going to be able to get close enough to her. She'll be able to avoid the deadly jaws of the lions. Look at that. We're going to have lion and cheetah. There we go. Together. Now the lion has given up. She realizes that she has been spotted and the cheetah is too fast for her. But the problem with lions is that they live in prides. Now while the one lioness is stalking off, there's a second lioness that's going to the right of the cheetah. She's just disappeared behind a termite mound now. But I think the cheetah's seen her. Let's stay on the cheetah. I think she's seen the second lioness. The second lioness was trying to be a bit more sneaky. But no, she's been spotted. The cheetah's running to the right. Oh. The cheetah's running. And the cheetah's disappeared in some... There you see the cheetah? There she is. Now the lions have split the two sisters. So if we come across all the way to the left of the first lioness, Dave. Lion's running at the cheetah. Run, girly girl. So I would like you guys to describe in one word how this makes you feel. It made me feel worried for the cheetah. Hashtag Safari Live, but I'm a little bit less concerned now. But earlier I was seriously concerned, but now the cheetah has spotted them. She knows she's fast enough to get away from the lions. But as I say, the problem is there are so many lions. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 lions at the moment. See, there's another lioness there, and there's a hyena. We've got 3 of the major carnivores in the Masai Mara together in one spot. Now, as I said, the lions have split the two sisters, and you can see that the one sister is disappearing towards the tree line. The other sister is still closer to us. There we go. Look, she's after the cheetah. She's after the cheetah. She's after the cheetah. The second cheetah is being chased. It's getting quite close. Come on, put foot down. Put it down. There we go. The cheetah's just jogging though. There we go. That's the second one. So a lioness we didn't even see snuck up on the other sister. Oh, that was close. I think we need a second one-word tweet. Wow. Oh, I'm breathless at the moment. I'm very happy the cheetah managed to escape though. Dearie me. It's all happening here. Sky's one-word tweet was scary. Indeed it was. I was scared for that poor cheetah. Marisha was anxious. Well, you guys, I was scared, I was anxious, I was worried, I was excited. There's just too many words to describe this. And this is the incredible thing about being live in one of the greatest wildlife destinations in the world. A fourth predator has poked his head out to see what's happening. There's a little black-backed jackal.
She's running again.
Oh, she's running again. Oh, these lions are actually being... Oh, that cheetah is showing her speed, disappeared off to the right. Now, of course, you can hear a baboon in the distance. Bah! Saying lion! Or he could be saying cheetah, I'm not sure. Are we just trying to see what's going on? And so is the jackal. Oh, the jackal's just disappeared. Of course he did, just down there off the termite mound. But the hyena is watching with great interest. Oh, now just beyond there's the cheetah. She's looking for her sister. The lions are still heading towards her. The hyena's running around, going, what's going on? This could be exciting. There we go. There's one of the lionesses. So as I said, there are 4 or 5 lionesses. I've seen 7 adult lionesses in this Mara River Pride before. This is so exciting. These lionesses are continuing on towards the cheetah. They're not giving up just yet. But as I said, I think I'm hopeful that the cheetah will be able to get through. Peyton's one word is intense, and intense indeed. Now, these are not scenes you get to see every day, and I'm so happy we've been able to share this with you live in this series-ending migration spectacular. Quickly back across to the left. That cheetah just came, I think it's the cheetah came running out under that big tree. There we go. To the right of them, Paula. So she ran away from the lions, and then something chased her out of the trees. There could have been a hyena there. There could be more lions there. I can just hear the baboons. Can you hear them, Dave? Whoa! Whoa! Actually, that's exactly what it was. She was chased by baboons. Baboons also are a big threat to cheetah. They've, believe it or not, got canines that are longer than a lion's. Okay, we're going to move quickly, try and get onto some high ground, see if we can figure out exactly what's going on, see if we can see where the second girl is. While we do that, James is going to take you through a bout of cuteness.
Sure, everybody, I think we need a little bit of calming music to get through what we've just seen there. It's not all about the carnage and the mayhem and the chasing and the claws and the teeth. Sometimes it's about cuteness, and we've seen many, many cute and beautiful things during the course of this show, and so I thought I'd sing the youngsters of the Mara a little song. Here we go, everyone. Rock-a-bye, babies of the Mara. When the herds come, the grass will be short. Then you must watch for the tooth and the claw. Oh, poor little baby will be no more. That was very cute, wasn't it? Marvellous indeed. Good. Okay, let's go across to Scott, who's got wildebeest and possibly still his cheetah.
Well, the cheetah are certainly not hunting right now, but anything could change. We've never actually seen them hunting large herds like this during broad daylight. They tend to specialize in hunting them after dark, and at least that has been the case in the last few months since we have been following them. So, even though they may be taking it easy in the shade of those thickets right now, they may decide to get up and start hunting later this evening or in the evenings to come in the following weeks. So be sure to follow in on the various platforms, Facebook. There's lots of different ways you'll be able to keep in on the action if you are desperate to see these boys doing their things. We have captured them doing their business countless times already, and we will continue to do so. It just seems like this morning has been a morning more of peaceful serenity than that of hunting and killing. At least that's the case in this area, and it sounded like some hair-raising moments with those 2 sisters and the lion that were chasing them on Brent's vehicle. I'm relieved that they ended up okay. There is certainly no match between cheetah and lion. Hello to Charles. You would like to know if it's true that cheetah need to rest for about 30 minutes after a chase. And no, that's not entirely true, because it all depends on how long the chase is, and it's more of a kind of a myth that they need to cool down as they run the risk of overheating and combusting into flames. That's not entirely true. And it's actually been recently disproved, that kind of myth or belief that people did used to spread about cheetah. What they do need to do is obviously catch their breath, just like we would need to do after having a sprint, but there's no set time, and a lot will depend on the age of the cheetah and the individual, no different to us as humans. It sounds like we need to send you back to Brent to see what drama is unfolding there.
Oh, it looks like they're running for something. There's a little bokkie.
No, they're chasing the hyena. And playing with each other.
Sorry about that. Brent can't actually hear what's going on at the moment. We'll fix that and we'll take you back out to the field now. Now, I'm just going to read you something very peaceful in line with what Scott was saying there. It goes, if I know a song of Africa, of the giraffe and of the African new moon lying on her back, does Africa know a song of me? Will the air over the plain quiver with a colour that I have had on, or the children invent a game in which my name is, or will the eagles of the Ngong Hills look out for me? I think that's the most wonderfully nostalgic quote from Karen Blixen, and makes me wonder if Africa will remember me as fondly as I think of her. Now, as I said to you, we are coming back to your screens with a highlights package, a wrap of the migration on the 29th of September. Please use this hashtag between now and then. Hashtag Safari Live, hashtag Safari Live Migration Best, both of those hashtags together. You can tell us what your favourite parts of the migration were, and we'll put some clips together for that event. That is on the 29th of September, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on Nat Geo Wild. For the rest, remember, we're on YouTube every single afternoon, 3 hours in the afternoon, 3 hours in the morning, depending on where you are in the world. You can find us on whatever search engine you choose to use. And also we'll be on Facebook for any live action broadcasts that come out of South Africa, or more specifically out of the migration for the rest of the migration season. It's been an absolute joy and privilege talking to you from the Migration Control. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Let's hand you back out to the field for the final few minutes with Jamie Patterson.
I couldn't agree with James more, and in fact I probably couldn't have put it better myself. We've got our Lioness, who has climbed all the way up to the top of this rocky outcrop, I think perhaps to get away from the cubs and have a little bit of peace. I tried to follow her and found myself well and truly flummoxed. However, I think she must have one of the best views in the entire Masai Mara. I mean, she's looking out at the herds of wildebeest moving back into the northern part of the triangle, right across to the Mara River. And of course you will see another vehicle there. That's of course because there are tourists that come to share these magical experiences as well. Remember, every single day you can join us on the internet in order to follow the stories of these amazing creatures, whether it's the musketeers, Armani's daughters, and of course that sounded like a truly terrifying moment with Brent, or the sausage pride. Oh, James, what a brilliant question. You want to know what has surprised me the most during the migration. I know this sounds very cliched, and I know that this sounds ridiculous, and I've seen many a documentary on the migration, but seeing it in person and getting an idea of the sheer number of animals and the sheer amount of animal life that this ecosystem supports still came as a surprise for me. Even though I was prepared for it, even though I was told about it, it still was an exceptional sight, and I have loved absolutely every minute of it. It's been exciting at times, hard at others, and really very special. Let's go back across to Brent, because I'm sure you're dying to know how that situation is playing out.
Well, there we go. The unsuccessful Lioness raiding party heading back towards us. Now, as I said, there were 4 of them. Oh, they're going to play. Well, if they can't catch a cheetah, they're going to catch each other. No, I do love lions. I love cheetah. It was such a difficult decision. I do have good news for everyone, though, that the cheetah girls are reunited and they disappeared into the forest together. Brian has got a very interesting question. Who do the lions dislike more, cheetah or hyena? Well, I would have to say hyena, even though they'll probably chase a cheetah more often. Oh, look at them playing, they're having the best time. Feeling very big after chasing a small cat. Hyenas will definitely be more of a threat to the lions, and especially these monster clans we get here of over 100 or so that put pressure on the lion prides from time to time. So I would definitely say they dislike hyena more, but they will probably chase cheetah with a bit more vigor, like we saw here, whereas we saw that hyena running around the edge of them, and they didn't do anything about it. They were completely focused on the cheetah. Wow, what an exciting way to finish off this series. That was absolutely incredible. It was jaw-dropping. It was breathtaking. That's the only way I can describe it. And of course, we're going to be back in September to wrap up as the migration's moving out of the Mara. 29th of September, Safari Live, Nat Geo Wild, we'll be here. We cannot wait to take you on another adventure. But for the last few seconds of this absolutely epic, amazing adventure that has been the migration series, let's send you to our playful Mara River Pride. Look at that, there's some eland in the background. And the lions will be happy for the next few months while the migration's still here. From all of us at Safari Live, it's been an absolute privilege. A big thank you to the most important people, you, the viewers, and of course, the rest of my amazing team. So see you in September.